Hello and welcome to Basic Fishing Bites, and now I'm going to show you how to tie up a dibber rig for fishing really shallow for F1s up in the water, fishing baits like maggots, casters and pellets. So now I'm going to show you how to tie up a Guru carbon cookie rig.
And what would you use this sort of rig for, Jordan?
So this kind of rig is absolutely perfect for fishing shallow for F1s. So if you're fishing maggot shallow, casters, pellets, up in the water, and they're probably coming between like 6 to about 18 inches deep, this is the absolute perfect rig for this. So it's in our Guru F1 commercial bagging range of rig strips, and you can copy these strips and it tells you how to type the perfect rig for it. So I'm going to show you how to do it now.
Brill, very quickly, for those who don't know, what's the difference between a dibber and a normal float?
So a dibber, it's a little short stubby float.
I'm guessing that's one there, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, this is the actual float here, just has a silicone attached. But this is the float here. So you can see it's a very small float and it's for fishing very shallow. So once you feed in your bait and you can see fish swirling, this is the absolute perfect float for this. Whereas a normal float is for fishing a little bit deeper, whereas this is for fishing really shallow. You can see it's got a little
bulbous end.
A bulbous end, yeah.
Rather than a bristle.
Yeah, just perfect for fishing really shallow, to be honest. So I'm going to show you now how to tie them up. Obviously, the rig here is on the actual rig strip. It tells you what line to use, what shots to use, and where to position them. So today we've got a little bit of a strung out kind of style shot in. So should we get started?
Let's do it.
Right, so on the actual strip itself, it's got a hole on one end and a groove on the other end. The hole is where the actual loop's going to go, where we attach our hook length. So that hole just goes over the pin there. This groove just goes up above the pin there. So now it's all nice and flat on the actual rig mate itself. And we can basically copy the rig. So the strip itself, it says 0.17mm line. This is Guru Engage line.
So this is exactly what it says on the tin, isn't it?
Yeah, basically, nice strong line. Basically, you can fish all day with this and you're never ever going to get broken. That's the plan with the line. So just going to attach it to the rig mate, just undoing the clamps now. Just going to put the line over the top of that. Clamp him down. Oh, a bit too tight. Want to give myself a little bit more line. All right, we'll tighten it up there. So now we have some line. Just going to trim this tag end, and that's for pushing through the eye. It makes it nice and easy to put these silicons on now. So this is just 0.3mm silicone, and we're just going to basically cut 2 pieces because it's such a short float. We only need 2 pieces, but on any float longer than these dibbers, I feel like you need 3 pieces of rubber just to keep the float in position. But 2 on this float will be absolutely perfect. So I'm just going to do one really nice and short, about 3mm in length, and then one about double the length, probably 5 or 6mm. And that one there is just going to overhang the bottom of the float. So when the line is rubbing against the carbon of the float, if you had a short rubber and that carbon's exposed, it's going to be rubbing on the line, whereas this long one, we're going to leave it overhanging the float there, and it's just going to protect it from damage, and you just won't get broke as often. So that's a nice little tip. Make sure you cut your end bits of silicone a little bit longer. So we're going to attach our float onto the line now. So we're going through the eye of the float first, like so. Just going to thread the line through that small bit of silicone. So he's on the line, and then we're just going to put that longer one on last. Like so. So now everything's on the line. Just need to attach it to the float. It can be a little bit fiddly, this can, but if you just take your time, you'll get it on. So now we've got that first piece on, and what I like to do is put it about 1/2 inch away from the bottom of the body, because if you put it right on the body of the float, you can see that line there, it's going to dig into the float, and when you're moving your float up and down, like changing the depths, you can end up with the line digging into the body, and you don't want that. And also it can mean sometimes the eyes of your floats can pull out, so because it's so much tension on that line. So if you just move it out a little bit, that line's just a bit more relaxed on that body and the eye, so your eyes won't pull out and you won't damage your float. So that's a nice little tip. And then this second piece of rubber, just going to put it on, overhanging the bottom of that float a little bit, like that. And then you're not going to get that damage I spoke about earlier. And then that float is lovely on the line. Just going to move them out of the way now. And now what I'm going to do is use a loop tyre. I'm just going to make a nice little loop. So what I do is I just kind of wrap a loop around one finger. So obviously I make it into a loop, put my finger in the middle of it, put the loop tyre underneath, wrap it twice, put the loop I've made now over my finger into the middle of the loop tyre, like so. Let it all pull down, and then slowly, if you work it out with the point facing down, it will just release itself, and you can see there it's made a nice little loop. Now I'm just going to wet it because it's a nice strong loop, like so. Cut that tag end down nice and short, like so. And now we're ready to put our shots on the line. So now all I'm going to do, put that loop on that pin at the bottom, because this rig mate really helps keep that line nice and tight. If we tighten it up now on there, you see now we've got a nice tight line to put our shots on. And I'm just going to move this float out of the way for now, but we're actually tying up a 0.25 grammed version here, and on the actual rig strip it says 0.25 in purple down here, and you can see if you move along the rig mate, it says number 8 in purple, so it tells you exactly which shots to position. So this one here is going to take 4 number 8 shots. I like shots on these kind of rigs so they don't move around as much. I think stots, they're good for putting on the line, but they can move around on this kind of rig quite a lot, especially when fishing shallow and it's in your landing at head when you're landing fish. So I like to use shots on these kind of rigs. So I'm just going to put one on the loop end here. I'm just going to basically position them where it tells me to position them on the strip. So one's there, one's here. I'm just using pliers to put these shots on the line. I feel like if you use your teeth, you're just going to damage your teeth, and your shots go on a bit funny sometimes and they can ping off during the day. Whereas if you put them on like this, they don't ping off, don't damage your teeth, and everything's just nice and perfect. So there we are, we have a lovely shotting now. And then I move my float down like that. You can see there, that's the shotting pattern we're going for. A little bit of a nice strung out pattern. If we attach a little hook length to that, we are basically absolutely ready to go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to store it on a winder. Just going to undo the pin end, let some slack out on the line, and wrap it around the winder. So obviously we're fishing this rig really shallow, so we're not going to need a load of turns around the winder. So I'm just going to do about 7-8 turns, and that is absolutely plenty of line. So that's 1, 2, 3, just putting that float in the middle of the winder so he doesn't get damaged. 4, oh, don't drop it. 5, 6, 7. Just trim the line off, and what I like to do now is just make a nice big double overhand loop on this end. So just going to do that twice. Once, twice. Wet it up to tighten it down, and just put it around the corner of that winder, and there we are, the perfect little dibber rig for fishing really shallow for F1s. So I hope you found this video useful. If you want to get your hands on some rig strips, they come as a pack of 5. They're available from rigmate.co.uk. We have lots of sets of strips for you to copy, all different rigs, the rig I've just shown you, and lots of other ones. So check it out at rigmate.co.uk. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel so we can keep bringing you loads and loads of more content.